Yes, please, I'm ready.
Yeah, okay. Yes, good afternoon, one and all. Now, this is the second session of our STTP, 6 days STTP on comprehensive future in artificial intelligence. Now, for this session, with us, Dr. Rizwan Ahmed. Dr. Rizwan Ahmed is a Chief Technology Officer at Delaplex. Dr. Rizwan has close to 2 decades of professional experience in IT industry as innovative hands-on technology executive with a proven track record of leading the design, development, and program project management of high technology projects and solutions, while continuously improving the processes and procedures. He has worked with multiple Fortune 100,000 enterprises, MSMEs, and cutting edge technology startups in a variety of industries fintech, retail, healthcare, broadcast, hospitality, education technology, energy, etc. His specialties include pre-sales, digital services, product strategy, product engineering, delivery and project management, building and managing distributed teams, agile development, operations, mobile application development, multi-tenant and cloud native SaaS enterprise software, LAMP, Java and MS technology stacks artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, cybersecurity, mobile and digital forensic, and many more. Dr. Rizwan also worked as independent consultant for cybersecurity and digital and mobile forensic investigator for various private, government, and law enforcement agencies in India and abroad. Dr. Rizwan has been awarded as an IT Technology Hero Award 2008 by Microsoft from over 900 technologists and more than 10,000 developers, IT professionals worldwide. He's also include he is also included in Marquez Who is Who in the World 2016, considering his contribution and achievements so far. He has been awarded with IT Next magazine's Next 100 Future CIO 2017 award from more than 5,000 IT technology managers in India. He has been awarded as a most innovative 100 CIOs CTOs of India 2018 from all CIO CTOs from throughout India. In 2019, he received CTO of the Year 2019 award at IT Leadership Award 2019. Smart Innovator Award 2019 by Dynamic CIO at Enterprise Innovation Summit 2019. CIO of the Year 2019 by Enterprise IT World Magazine at CIO 500 Summit and Awards. Legendary Super CTO Award to 2020, Super Hero CIO 2020, Digital Transformation Leader 2020, Cyber Sentinel Award 2020, InfoSec Maestro Award 2021, and Technology Leaders Award 2021 in Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning during Global Awards function. The profile is so long. I'm very glad, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Rizwan Ahmed in front of you. Now I request
Thank you.
Dr. Rizwan Ahmed sir to please guide us as a keynote of session 2.
Thank you so much for that introduction. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Please confirm if you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, sir. It is visible.
So at the outset, I would like to congratulate Cummins College for organizing this 6 days STTP on comprehensive future in artificial intelligence. Considering my journey so far, looking at a great career which I started when I was a student way back in my engineering days, right? I have seen artificial intelligence shaping our lives, affecting our lives, right? And maybe helping us do things better. And I personally feel AI could be one of the humanity's most useful inventions looking at where we are today. So I'll be talking about some of these experiences and my personal take about how AI and ML is affecting our lives, what opportunities we have, and more importantly, what threats we have and how we should address some of those threats. So my journey with AI started way back, as I said, when I was an engineering student. I was in my third year of engineering when I got fascinated about artificial intelligence. And that time I decided to maybe explore the various use cases or possibilities where artificial intelligence could be utilized. And I came up with a new unique idea around that time. And that idea was maybe I coined a term right at that time called as automatic programming, wherein thought process was you tell the computer what uh, problem you have, and the computer is going to write program for you with the outcome what you're expecting at that time. And that was in third year. And with that idea, I wrote my first research paper. I did not knew how to do that, and I decided to participate in one of the national technical paper presentation contest at that time. And I was very passionate. I wanted to win that contest, and even I created a POC just to validate my idea, show everyone right how this idea works. And this was a very very unique thing which I thought which is going to help me win that contest. So I participated in that contest. My competitors were from IITs and other known big universities. Some of them were very senior to me, right, in their final years, post graduation and PhD work, right. And luckily, I was able to present that idea. At the same time, I was able to maybe win that contest. I was adjudged as the second winner in that contest, and that's how my journey with AI started, and my fascination increased day by day, and I got more involved. I still have maybe a not so good feeling of not getting that first prize. And maybe one of the reasons what I felt maybe which might have caused that is a lot of people thought the idea what I'm presenting, right, that could not be realistic at that time, considering AI limitations and maybe some of the computing limitations what we had around that time. That could be one of the reasons I thought, because my program which I built, it used to take a lot of time to run. That application what I built to do some of those things. So with that, as all of you know, we have been through multiple industrial revolutions so far. Right now, we are in the fourth industrial revolution. So if you look at the previous industrial revolutions, so the first industrial revolution liberated humankind from animal power. We used to use maybe horse carts and things like that. And maybe when we had the first industrial revolution, we had motor cars and other solutions which were available to us. Then the second industrial revolution made mass production possible for us, wherein we were able to have assembly lines and that kind of concept. And third industrial revolution brought digital capabilities in billions of people's lives, and that is what has affected all of us through use of internet and things like that. But if you look at the fourth industrial revolution, what we are going through, it is fundamentally very, very different, right? And maybe it can be characterized by use of multiple new technologies which are coming into picture. And more importantly, we are seeing convergence of physical, digital, and biological worlds. They are coming together, right? And they're impacting all of us. So that is something which is very unique with this fourth industrial revolution. So I highly recommend all of you to read this book, which I'm showing on the screen, and I've shared a link also, which is basically summary of that book. In a way, what Professor Klaus Schwab has from World Economic Forum has talked about the fourth industrial revolution. So some of the important things which is going to happen in fourth industrial revolution is going to be extreme automation and connectivity, which is going to be something we'll be seeing everywhere. And more importantly, as I said earlier, we'll have combination of cyber and physical world coming together, which would be driven by artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and robotics, combining all the operations together. And I feel we are in a century wherein all these technologies are already mainstream, but we'll see huge investment and lot of spending coming around artificial intelligence and relevant technologies. So if I want to tell about maybe one of the future predictions according to IDC, which is one of the biggest research firms, according to them, around 2023, AI spending is going to be around $100 billion. You can imagine the kind of spending everyone would have. So let's dwell into this, how this is happening. So one of the prominent driving factors for this fourth industrial revolution is impact of internet. So as you all know, internet is basically a groundbreaking technology, and using this technology is most of these new modern technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, IoT, they all can work together. This was not something which was possible way back. So when I gave my that student example, and when I was in my college, I remember paying around 200 rupees for using internet for 1 hour, right? Using the dial-up connection what I have, and that is something which I still enjoyed, right? Even after paying that kind of money, right? I could collect a lot of research papers and things like that. So in this slide, you can see how things are happening every 60 seconds. I mean, a lot of things change, right? Just within a second using internet, and that is what is driving a lot of things. So if you look at internet is kind of a bonus of being a shining example of modern worldwide adoption of a technology that has helped transform businesses. It has also helped us in shaping humanity, and more importantly, it has brought that convergence of all the technologies I just talked about, using internet as a driver. And that's where we are able to create many opportunities which are ranging from new services which were not possible maybe in past, as well as a lot of breakthroughs in science, right, which was something again was able to be driven considering the power of internet. So we are able to provide augmentation to human intelligence. We can bring convergence of various technologies in the digital world, and that is all possible using internet. Again, one of the big trend what we see these days is maybe more data everywhere, and we kind of have a data overload. And this is something again we all need to remember, right? Is a good thing to have as well as it is a bad thing to have as well. So if you look at the traditional data sources, we used to have just reports, maybe some general analysis what we could do, right? We used to only have one data source in past. But if you look at today's challenges, there are multiple data sources from where you need to collect all the data, right? And maybe do it in a way that, okay, all these data sources, we are able to bring that data together at a single data source, and then we are able to do analysis on that. But more importantly, what we all need to understand is these data sources are having huge amount of data. Previously, we used to only have gigabyte, terabytes, right? But we are talking about petabytes, exabytes, zettabyte, yottabytes. Imagine that kind of data and how many zeros we have in these bytes, right? So it's humanly impossible for people like you and me to be able to examine this data, right? And maybe solve some of the problems which are very, very grand in nature on our own. And that's where artificial intelligence comes into picture, which is again kind of helping us, right? To ensuring that we have right tools and right models in place, which are going to help us comprehend this data. At the same time, we're able to solve real world problems. So in many cases, humans are no longer needed to spend endless hours indexing and classifying these data from various sources, which could include textual data, tabular data from different sources, right? Rather, what we can do is we can use artificial intelligence and natural language processing, and these tools can help us examine data from variety of sources of documents and things like that. Now, maybe just to understand what artificial intelligence is, I know all of you understand this term, but it's critical that since it's a broad term, we should understand what all things come into picture, right? So if you look at a simple definition of artificial intelligence, this is trying to mimic the human intelligence what we have got as humans so far. So what we are trying to do is using AI, we are trying to make a computer or a computer controlled robot or a software to wisely think in the same way that the intelligent man thinks. And that's how the journey of artificial intelligence started maybe several decades back, right? Around 1950s, when one of the first computers were even invented, right? You know ENIAC as a first computer. And that's when artificial intelligence was started. So just a trivia, right? Do you know who coined the term artificial intelligence? So the clue is in the photo. So maybe just to make it interactive, generally I used to do these sessions in person, right? Where I can see everyone face to face. And I know we have a limitation now. We can't just do that now, right? So if you know the answer, maybe use the chat window, right? And maybe get the bragging rights, right? In a way, who the gentleman is in the photo. If you know the answers, maybe you can get the bragging rights. So in interest of time, I'll just move forward. I'll have a lot of trivia questions like these. So be ready and be responsive in the chat so that I know everyone is able to follow along. If you don't know the answer, simply say no so that I can move forward. Does anyone know the answer? Can you confirm in chat? Okay, so I take that as no, but my request would be to all the participants to be participative and interactive in this session. I know generally I am asked to do these sessions in afternoon, right, post lunch break, which is a difficult time, right, at times. So I'm seeing some answers. Let me check. Okay, so I at least got a no. Thank you, Reshma. Thanks for coming forward. So the gentleman's name in the photo is John McCarthy, and he coined the term artificial intelligence way back in 1956. He's also attributed as father of artificial intelligence. And why I'm showing his photo and maybe why I'm bringing up here is we all need to understand the definition what he gave to artificial intelligence in way back in 1956. So according to him, artificial intelligence is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. Imagine a visionary like him coming up with a definition like this several decades back, right? Wherein even the computers were in infancy, right? They were literally very new. And imagine the kind of thought process he had that we should be able to create intelligent machines or intelligent computer programs. Moving forward, as I said, artificial intelligence is a very, very big and collective term, and we are trying to mimic human intelligence. So, as humans, we are able to sense, we are able to see what is happening around us. As humans, we are able to think based on what we see things around us, and we are also able to learn based on what we are seeing all around us. And more importantly, based on our sensing, thinking, and learning capabilities, we are able to take actions in response to what we are sensing, right? And what's the objective, right? And that is what these artificial intelligence based systems are trying to do. They are trying to sense the environment, they are able to think on their own, they're able to learn on their own, and more importantly, they should be able to take actions. And as we all know, right, there are many forms of AI which is already is in use. So that includes digital assistants like Siri, Cortana, Alexa, and various chatbots which are out there. Even I have included many real world examples, right, or rather more modern examples in terms of how artificial intelligence is being used in year 2021. So if you look at any artificial intelligence based system, right, we need to again look at how these systems are able to sense, right? So when we talk about any sensing ability, we should be able to basically hear, we should be also able to speak, we should be also able to see, and more importantly, we should be able to feel. And for that, artificial intelligence uses areas like natural language processing, audio and speech recognition or audio or speech synthesis, machine vision, wherein we are able to maybe look at video as well as maybe images and maybe understand what we are seeing. More importantly, we are also coming up with a lot of navigation as well as visualization techniques as part of these sensing abilities. Again, we are also able to kind of think using AI. So for that, we should be able to understand what we are seeing or what we are sensing. We should be able to perceive certain things based on what we are sensing. And more importantly, using these AI-based systems, we should be able to assist and plan as well. And that's where knowledge and representation comes into picture. A lot of planning and scheduling algorithms and models come into picture, and we need to apply a lot of reasoning and logic. And for that, we need to use modern AI solutions like machine learning, deep learning, algorithms, and models, which come into picture. Third area, as I said, when we say AI can act on its own, so it basically is combining a lot of physical as well as cognitive abilities. And at times we need to be creative and reactive, right? When we are acting. So you sense something, using the sensors, and you need to react to those things. So there could be a lot of different fields like RPA, deep questions and answering solutions, which could be part of decision support systems. More importantly, machine translation, wherein if I'm interacting with an AI system, the AI system should be able to interact with me in the same way I'm interacting with that system as well. A lot of collaborative systems come into picture wherein you are interfacing with a lot of third world systems where you're integrating the data which is needed for doing your job better. And that's where we also call a new field called as adaptive systems, wherein these systems are able to learn on its own and maybe act on its own. So this is what is at high level is involved in artificial intelligence, and it's basically combination of multiple fields. So if you look at the different fields, it could involve statistics, econometrics, optimization, complexity theory, computer science, and game theory. These are all different foundations as far as artificial intelligence goes. So if you want to be successful in artificial intelligence, if you have knowledge of all these different foundation areas, that is going to maybe help you use AI for the maximum benefit in terms of what problems you're trying to solve. Next thing is we need to understand what are the different categories of artificial intelligence. And this is something which is very, very important when we are building any artificial intelligence based systems. So if you look at the four prominent categories, right, how the categorization is done. First is the kind of artificial intelligence based system where we don't have any human in loop. This is something we all need to remember. There is no human involvement, right? And second category is we could have a combination of human as well as artificial intelligence system in loop. They need to work in conjunction. They cannot work independently. So that is first level of categorization. Second categorization is these systems could be used for some hardware or specific use cases. So another term which is used in this case is for artificial intelligence is maybe specific use of artificial intelligence, right? In a way, we are using that artificial intelligence to solve maybe certain specific use cases or specific problems, which is very, very in a special scenario, right? That AI system can only do those things. And second is categories adaptive systems, wherein we again use a term which is called as generalized AI, wherein these systems are able to do a lot of different things together. So with this categorization, we have four different types. So the first type is called as automated intelligence, okay, and second type is called as assisted intelligence. Third type is called as augmented intelligence, and fourth type is called as autonomous intelligence. So in automated intelligence and autonomous intelligence, there is no human involvement required. These AI systems can act and function on their own. Wherein, if you look at the second category for assisted as well as augmented intelligence, we need to have human plus AI combination working together. So let's look at more details in a way. What are the examples of automated intelligence as such? So basically, automated intelligence involves utilizing manual as well as cognitive and routine and non-routine tasks and identifying those tasks, what we do as humans, and bringing into automation into that. So in a way, whatever humans could do on their own, same things machines or artificial intelligence based solutions should be able to do on their own. So we are trying to basically identify certain repetitive and standard tasks which are done by humans, and we are trying to come up with an automated intelligence wherein these RPA based systems can be able to do those things without any human involvement. So RPA is very, very prominently being used in industry to bring in automation, right? And there are many RPA tools which are out there. Some of the prominent RPA tools which are out there are Automation Anywhere and UiPath. I highly recommend that you should go and check these tools. Using these tools, you can maybe automate a lot of routine tasks which as humans we are able to do. So example could be if you need to analyze an Excel sheet every month to look at, say, suppose how many students are coming to your college. So you can automate using UiPath and Automation Anywhere some of the data by looking at the process, how you do that manually, right? And maybe put that data in the Excel sheet. So using this RPA tool, that can be automated. Same thing can be done for, say, suppose a lot of marketing data which is out there, right? And things like that, so that we have more automation in place. Next category is assisted intelligence, wherein, if you remember, right, wherein these systems need to work in conjunction with humans like you and me, right? They cannot work on their own. So there are a lot of examples for this. So one good example is industrial robots. So as you all know, when we do manufacturing, say suppose car manufacturing, so we have a lot of industrial robots in picture, right? Having assembly lines, assembling those cars, and humans are kind of monitoring those robots, but most of the work is being done by those industrial robots. And here we are using assisted intelligence. These robots are having a high level of precision. Maybe in terms of if the same task are done by humans, will take a lot of time and the precision would be missing. Wherein these assisted intelligence based systems, they can basically do a lot of things on their own, but they need some oversight by humans. Again, another example could be of assisted intelligence is all of us use this GPS navigation programs, wherein in car, if I need to go from one place to other place, I may use Google Maps or other navigation programs which are out there. So I start put my location where I am and where I need to go, and these GPS navigation systems can tell me how I should navigate from one place to other place. But as humans, you decide what route you want to take. Even if you get three routes, you decide which route you want to take out of those three routes which are out there. So you are getting information from AI based system, but what route to take, that is something you are deciding on your own, wherein these systems are helping you make more informed decisions. Third category, which is even better than assisted intelligence, is augmented intelligence, wherein we are trying to help humans make even better decisions, and we are trying to learn from machines, right? And maybe make better informed decisions instead of doing those decisions on our own. So there are a lot of examples of augmented intelligence based systems. So one of the good examples is generally when you go to doctors, right, especially radiologists, and you are trying to identify if someone is having a specific type of cancer or not, right? So they need to look at a lot of radiological images, and at times these radiological images could be thousands in numbers, and this human doctor who is a radiologist need to look at all those images and identify if there is a cancerous cell involved somewhere. So at times this process could be prone to human errors, and for that people have come up with AI ML based system wherein you can do image recognition and you are able to identify some of the cancerous cells from non-cancerous cells in less amount of time, as well as the accuracy is almost close to 100%, wherein the human accuracy is around 80 to 85%. So if you do a wrong diagnosis or if you're able to not identify cancerous cell, you can imagine what might happen to the human life. So these AI algorithms are doing maybe better decision making, and they're able to pinpoint certain specific images which that radiologist can look at and maybe make a better informed decision in a way where what they are seeing in that image, right, and whether it is a cancerous cell or not. So that is the third category of augmented intelligence, wherein we are working together with AI system. Fourth and the prime category of intelligence is autonomous intelligence, and there is no human intervention required. These AI-based systems are completely automated and they can take their own decisions. And one of the prime examples, as we all know, is of autonomous intelligence is the cars which can drive on their own. We call them as autonomous vehicles or driverless cars, and there are many more terms, wherein these cars can drive on your normal road without any human involvement, right? And maybe they can take you from one location to the other location. So those are the four types. Maybe what I would request you is we all see many examples in our life, right, of all these four types. So look through what AI tools you're using, right, and maybe categorize them into these four categories so that you understand how these four categories are being used in our day-to-day life. That can be taken up as a maybe assignment by all of you so that you understand all these four types of intelligence which is out there. Another trivia, I'm showing a photo here. This is from 1950. Can anyone guess what this is about, what this photo is, and maybe what we are showing in this photo? So if you know the answer, maybe put it in the chat window. If you don't know the answer, simply say no. But if you know the answer, right, you could get the bragging rights, right? there are a lot of clues in the photo itself. So be careful, right, when you're looking at the photo. Can I expect some answers, please? Okay, so I see some responses, but not recent responses. I see some questions as well. So thank you, Deepali. Tic-tac-toe game, right? Okay, that's a very good answer. That's what it is. And as you can see in the photo, right, the person who is showcasing, right, he has basically built a computer program way back in 1950, right? And this computer game was called as Bertie the Brain, and you can basically play tic-tac-toe against a computer. And this was built by Joseph Katz in Toronto, and it was shown during Canadian National Exhibition. So it was basically a 4 meter tall computer, right, wherein attendees could basically play a computer game of tic-tac-toe against artificial intelligence. So you can imagine, right, artificial intelligence is not new, right? This is into existence, right, for several decades now. And there is a link also about this game, so you can maybe go and check about this. So one thing we all need to understand is, even though maybe artificial intelligence is into existence for several decades, why it is coming into prominence more recently, right? So some of the most important reasons why it is coming into prominence now is, now we have access to massive amount of data. So if you look at old days, even when I was in my college days, it was very difficult to even store maybe few MBs of data on a hard drive. But if you look at now, we can basically store any amount of data using cloud technologies, right? And maybe it's very easy to do. At the same time, it is inexpensive as well. Second prominent reason why we are seeing artificial intelligence growth in recent years is, there is huge internet penetration. We have 4G connectivity, 5G connectivity. Kind of everyone has access to internet, which was not possible maybe a few years back. And third important thing is faster computing. We have access to enormous computing power, which was not there. I told you my own example. When I built certain programs 20 years back for AI, those programs sometimes used to run maybe for several hours. In some cases, maybe after optimization for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, right? That was not something which is useful, right, from the perspective of usability. But if you look at now, you basically have access to faster computing using cloud, right? You can also bring in GPUs and just not CPUs into picture, right? And maybe build AI based system which could solve many complex problems at a very reduced cost. And this was not possible maybe several decades back. Again, one of the prominent use cases of AI ML, if you look at the modern days, is the data science as well as analytics process, wherein we have a lot of data, as I showcased in previous slides, and we should be able to maybe collect this data, right, and maybe process and clean this data, bring it into a single data repository, right, and then apply a lot of exploratory data analysis as well as AI/ML models to maybe make better informed decisions, right? And that's where there is a huge need of data scientists, right? If you talk about even our company, we are doing a lot of good work, right, as far as data science, AI/ML goes, right? And we are short on people. We are not able to find people who have the existing experience on data science, AI/ML models, what we are trying to use, right, to solve some of the real world problems. So through this STTP, I would request all the participants, right, to take up data science, AI/ML, right, maybe as your research area, build the capabilities, right, and there is dearth of opportunities. Even while you're in college, you can work as consultant, right, and maybe become a data scientist solving some of these problems. So as you can see in the diagram, right, the entire process of data collection, extraction, transformation, analysis, interpretation, and reporting comes under the data science, wherein we are able to make certain intelligent decisions. And all the AI/ML based systems, what I was showing in past, right? The basic premise behind them is why they're able to work is, since they have the right data and the models could work using, or the algorithms could work using the data what they have. So this is not a new field. Data science has been in existence for several years, almost from the time of invention of computers. But they have also taken a lot of prominence, maybe in recent times. So here I'm quoting one of the Gartner people, and he was a senior vice president and global head of research when he said this, right? And Gartner is one of the biggest research advisory firms. And if you don't know already, right, Gartner is someone who makes predictions about future technologies in a way, what is happening now, right, and what is going to happen maybe a few years down the line, which technologies are going to take prominence and things like that. So if you look at his prediction way back in 2011 about data science. So what he said, Peter said, is uh, information is the oil of the 21st century, and analytics is the combustion engine. So he basically compared this with the first industrial revolution, right, wherein we brought in maybe the machine power, right, wherein we had engines coming into picture and we were able to build maybe vehicles which liberated us from the animal power. So what basically Peter said is, without information as well as analytics, we can't live in 21st century. And imagine, he said almost 10 years back, and see where we are now, right? Everything what we do these days is completely data driven. There is complete data science involved. We're using a lot of AI ML algorithms, deep learning algorithms whenever we're using uh, any kind of applications which are online, right? Be it be social media tools, be it be utilizing your camera and things like that, right? Everywhere we are using some or the other kind of analytics and information. Again, this field is very vast, but we need to understand all the categories, and maybe a lot of you can take up some of the research areas in one of the more modern analytics practices which are coming into picture. So in this slide, I'm basically showing X and Y axis. So X axis basically shows the difficulty and what's the value of that kind of analytics. So the first category of analytics which came into existence, right, and these are the categories which Gartner put together. The first category is called as descriptive analytics. So basically in descriptive analytics, you are trying to maybe collect what happened. So example could be like, say, suppose we are going through COVID way now, right? So in a way, how many people are getting affected, right? Where they are getting affected, what is the male female ratio and things like that. So that is basically an example of descriptive analytics, wherein we are trying to basically get into the details in a way what happened. So we are getting some kind of insight. In a way, we have some understanding what is exactly happening. Now next level of analytics is called as diagnostic analytics. So in this type of analytics, we are trying to find out why did it happen. So if you look at, say, suppose COVID as an example again, so we'll try to find out in this diagnostic analysis in a way why that second wave happened, right? What could be the epicenter of that second wave? What kind of maybe mutation of a particular version of COVID virus was involved and things like that. So this basically gives you insight, right? In a way, why did it happen? And why we are trying to do this diagnostic analysis is, we can look at this data of this diagnostic analytics and identify areas using which we can prevent certain things from maybe happening in future. That is what the thought process is, in a way, why it happened, right? And what happened is the combination of that. Third level of the analytics is called as predictive analytics, and this is something which is very prevalently being used nowadays, right? And what we try to do here is, in predictive analytics, is we try to, based on the data what we have now as well as old data, we try to predict what will happen. So example is, I mean, if you're reading the newspaper, using the data what we have and the data which is being collected, it is being predicted that, okay, we'll have a third wave, right, of COVID, and how the COVID wave of maybe the third wave is going to affect all of us, right? So how those predictions are being made is using this predictive analytics, because we are collecting a lot of data which is telling us, right, what could be the data points using which certain things would happen. One thing we need to understand why we are doing this predictive analytics is, we are trying to basically maybe learn insights into our data, but more importantly, we are trying to prepare ourselves so that certain things should not happen in future, or if they are going to happen, how we are going to tackle that. Or at times, this predictive analytics could be used in a way that, okay, we are better prepared if something bad is going to happen. That is what the thought process is. And the fourth and apex category of analytics is called as prescriptive analytics, wherein we are trying to create some kind of foresight in a way. How can we make something happen? That is what prescriptive analytics is about. So one of the good examples of prescriptive analytics is, there are a lot of health apps which are being built, right? And these health apps basically monitor your bodily parameters using a lot of sensors. So you might have a smartwatch. So that smartwatch is maybe basically observing your oxygen level, heart rate, how much steps you are taking, right, and things like that, right. And it is able to tell you, right, in a way, if you are not doing something and you are supposed to do it. So it is going to give you a prescription that, okay, uh, today you need to maybe walk for, say, suppose 10,000 steps to maintain your health and things like that. So that is where everything is going, wherein if you need to stay healthy, what you should be doing, that is going to be the future of prescriptive analytics, wherein we'll be able to even find out if you're going to maybe have a fever in future and what you should be doing so that the fever doesn't come and things like that. So there is a lot of research happening in predictive analytics as well as prescriptive analytics, right? So I'll highly ask all the participants to maybe look for all the use cases in these two areas, right? And maybe carry out research and maybe more analysis in predictive as well as prescriptive analytics. So here I'll again go into some more specific areas. So another trivia. So let's use the chat window. Does anyone recognize who the gentleman in the photo is? I hope all of you should, if you watch Hollywood movies. If you know the answer, please use the chat window to keep it interactive. Okay, anyone knows who the gentleman is in the photo? If you don't know it, maybe simply say no. This is just to make the session interactive. Maybe some of the common people who responded in the past, right? I'll request them to maybe take the lead. Anjali, Deepali, right? Do you know the person in the photo? Okay, I see no responses. Okay, okay, okay. I see Varsha responding, Anjali responding, right? Okay. So, in interest of time, I'll continue moving forward. The person whom you see here is Iron Man. If you have not watched Iron Man movies, right, I highly recommend you watch those movies. And he's basically He's interacting with a system, right, which is called as Jarvis. And Iron Man's name in the movie is called as Tony Stark. And what he did is basically created an AI-based system, right, which is being showcased in this basically the photo what I'm showing here, right? And he's basically interacting with that system. Does anyone knows what Jarvis stands for? Have you heard this term in past? What does Jarvis stands for? If you don't know the answer, simply say no. Okay. Thank you, Anjali. Please be participative so that I know like people are attentive, right? And they are responding to chat messages. Otherwise, I'll be maybe forced to assume, right? People are maybe not following what I'm trying to cover here, right? So Jarvis basically stands for a just a rather very intelligent system, right? And you can imagine, right, this though this is a movie, right, a Hollywood movie, they have not chosen any random name, right? They have come up with a very unique name, and that's where artificial intelligence is going, right? We are creating many highly advanced AI based systems, right, to maybe basically do things around us. And what this movie showcased is how Tony Stark used this AI based system to be that savior of human life, right, all around. And he created this system so that he could do his job better, right, of saving the humanity, saving the world as Iron Man. So if you have not watched this movie, I highly recommend you should watch the movie or at least go and learn more about Jarvis. So we always get inspired, right, by many Hollywood movies, and we should look for some similar solutions like Jarvis. So some of you, if you don't know, right, Jarvis is being developed by many people, including Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. So he developed a Jarvis version, maybe in less than a month, right, which could do many features that Jarvis was able to do in Iron Man. And mostly he was able to do everything using the open source technology. So you can imagine if he can do it, all of us can do it as well. Now I'll move forward and I'll try to showcase some of the artificial intelligence use cases in 2021. And this is basically transforming our lives, right? And we need to look at these use cases, learn from them, right? And maybe create our own inventions as well. Does anyone recognizes the logo, what I'm showing? Maybe a lot of you might have an app for this tool, right? In your phones as well, if I need to give you a clue. If you know the answer, that's fine. If you don't know the answer, simply say no. Do you know what the logo signifies, or what purpose it is for? Okay, Weber, you're close. It is from Google. But what specific application from Google? Yes, Google Lens. Okay, that is what the answer I was looking for. Thank you, Saurabh. Thanks for confirming that as well. So this is an example of Google Lens. A lot of us already use it. And what Google has created is search what you see, right? So anything what I'm able to see around me, right? I can basically search using Google Lens, right? So it has many different features. So if you look at one of the features, right, as I'm showing on my screen, basically you can use Google Lens, and if I'm able to maybe find a sofa in one of the images, so basically Google Lens is able to show me where I can buy that sofa online. Okay, that is one of the features which Google Lens is already having. Another feature which maybe could be useful for you or your students, if I need to show. So here is another example wherein if I point my Google Lens photo on, say, suppose one of the equations in the mathematics book. So Google Lens is able to find basically all the related videos online wherein I can understand that equation better, or maybe that mathematical problem better, right? Or maybe it could point me to a lot of different resources wherein I can learn more about that practical problem. More importantly, this could help the students, right, to maybe do their homework as well. So this is one of the unique apps. I'm one of the big fans of this app. I used it maybe all the time, but I found real use of this app when I was in US last year in Feb, right? So I can point the app towards the building, right? I could get all the information about that building. Basically, I can do a lot of smart text searches as well during that time. Even it could be used for doing translation from one language to the other language. So I was able to use this tool very heavily when I was visiting Japan, right, wherein I was not able to use maybe understand anything which was written in Japanese, right, and I can simply point my phone and it could tell me, right, what maybe some of the street signs are saying, right, and things like that. So there are many different use cases for which this Google Lens is being used. Can you tell me another trivia? How many objects Google Lens can detect as on today? Do you know the answer? If okay, so in interest of time, I'll go ahead. Google Lens is able to detect over 1 billion objects. So you can imagine, right, how huge the reach is. Okay, now another example, this is again from Google. So we have already seen Google Lens, but there are other examples like when you use Gmail, right? So how your emails are organized, they're basically AI powered, right? When you do search, again, that is AI and machine learning powered. So everything what Google is doing, right, there is some kind of artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning involved, right? So if you need to know more about how AI is being used by Google, I'm sharing a link here, right? Of the real world problems. Okay, moving on to next example. Do you recognize this logo? Any one of you, if you recognize the logo? Okay, so this logo is from Pinterest for maybe image sharing, right? But now using Pinterest, right, as I'm showing on my screen, basically you can do shopping also. So this is basically a visual search capability what they've incorporated using AI ML algorithms wherein based on selection of a particular object, what I can see in my photo, I can basically get all the different sources, right? Wherein I can buy, say, suppose a jacket, or maybe a flower vase, right? Or maybe a lamp, or any decorative item and things like that. Okay, moving on to next example. All of you know about Amazon, but they also have a visual search capability, right? Wherein either I can do a voice search as well as image search. Possibly this feature is not available in India yet, wherein what I could do is when I click on that photo icon as I'm showing on my screen, and click on that camera, and I can take a photo. And if I'm seeing, say, suppose a shirt or maybe something which I like, I can basically find how to buy that online using Amazon. And this is something which is very prevalently being used, as I'm showing in my example as well, wherein you see a news reader, right? So he's wearing maybe a blazer or jacket, what I like, right? So I can directly get maybe visual search result on Amazon, and I can go and buy that product. Same could be applied for objects like laptops, maybe handbags and things like that. And this is revolutionizing, right, how we are searching for products. Imagine if I need to buy something today, I need to either type it on my phone or maybe on my browser, or other option is I can maybe say it through microphone. But look at something, right? You'll just point what you like, and you'll be able to buy that. So if you like, say, suppose you have your favorite movie star as maybe all the new people, right, who are coming as stars in India or outside India, right, and you like their style, you point your phone towards their photo or something, and you will be able to buy those things. That's where visual search is going. Even we are doing a lot of good work using artificial intelligence for visual search. We have also built at Delaplex a visual search engine, right, wherein we are able to maybe search the products online, as I showcased in some of the previous examples. And there are more details, right, on the link what I'm showing on my screen, right, in a way how this product works. And you are basically able to do a lot more things as compared to some of the examples which I've shown you last time, wherein we are able to show the sources just not from one portal or one site. Basically, you can search through complete internet, and you can maybe get a better deal as compared to maybe one of the other sites and things like that. One more example of artificial intelligence in 2021. Does anyone recognizes maybe the photo? There is a hint as logo, as you can see in the photo, and maybe that's a big hint. This is again one of the big inventions of recent time, right? As far as artificial
Yes, dear participant, there is some technical problem. Just wait for 2 minutes.
So it looks like there was some technical error on my side. I hope you all can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
Sir, you are not audible.
Okay, I think I got a yes. Prasanna sir, are you able to hear me? Okay, I'm seeing yes from everyone. So let me go back and restart. So I believe I was on this slide, right? When I started. I think that's where you all lost me, right? Okay, so let me continue from where I left. So I'm showing a image on the screen, and there is a clue wherein the company's name is written, right? And it's a creation of basically company by name Soul Machines, right? And they have invented something called as Baby X. So what Baby X is, according to the creator Mark Sagar, who is the CEO of Soul Machines, it basically has a digital brain which can autonomously animate the character in real time, and the person who is interacting with this baby, right, can interact with this baby in a more natural way as a human. So they have completely created an interface wherein if I'm playing with a baby in real world, or if I'm interacting with this baby X, this experience is going to be similar. And to do this, they have completely simulated the human brain, and they call it that brain as digital brain. And this brain of this baby X is able to sense, learn, adapt, and communicate interactively as a human baby might do. So this is a great invention. So once this baby is able to interact as on its own, we are going to a next level wherein we could have maybe creations like as we have seen in movies like Avatar, right, wherein we live in a physical world, but our avatar could live in a digital world and maybe do different things. So that is where we are going slowly. So here is the anatomy of how they have created this digital brain, wherein you could see there are different components, different modules, right? And they're utilizing variety of AIML models, right, which is able to help them maybe interact with the digital brain of baby X, right? And they're trying to take it to the next level, and maybe use this tool, right, to make the human machine interaction, right, make it even more natural as we want it to be. So I highly recommend that you should go and check this online. Look for BabyX, and you'll find a lot of good videos along with resources in a way how they're making this happen. Okay, another trivia here. Does anyone recognize what is in the photo? This is something which is very recent. So I'm hoping some of you might know this. If you know the answer, that's fine. If you don't know it, maybe you can simply say you don't know. So just to give you some hint, right? Monkey is playing a game online, right? So you need to maybe recognize how that monkey is playing the game. Have you come across this in somewhere? If you don't know it, simply say no. So I'll take that as a no. Thank you, Weber. So this is again something which is a very recent thing, what we have noticed, and a lot of you must be already knowing, right? Elon Musk. So he basically did a tweet, right, recently, and he has founded a company called as Neuralink. If you don't know about this company, go and read about Neuralink. So this Neuralink is basically trying to infuse maybe certain powers in maybe animals like pigs, monkeys, right? And maybe they're implanting a chip in their brain, using which these animals are able to do certain extraordinary things. So as you can see in the photo, there is again a video available online wherein this monkey is able to play a ping pong game online, right? Just by maybe using his mouth, right? And he's able to do it very, very successfully. So basically, what this Neuralink is doing is they're able to control that monkey's brain and basically do a programming in his brain so that he's able to play that game. So this is just a start, right? Imagine where it is going, wherein they're starting with, say, suppose pigs and monkeys first. You never know, in future these chips could be implanted in our brain, right? And imagine what we might be asked to do. So that is where the world is going. Okay. Another example, have you heard about this company DeepMind? If not, go and check it out. This company was acquired by Google sometime back, and this company is doing a lot of breakthrough innovation. So some of the recent innovation, what they have is called as AlphaFold, wherein they're using artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning for doing scientific discoveries, right? So what AlphaFold is about is there are like a lot of biological problems, right, which we are trying to solve for several years, right, from the time we understood, right, that there are certain specific proteins which affect us, right, in a certain way. So if we know what proteins affect us in a certain way, and if you're able to find out how that protein folding is happening, we could prevent a lot of diseases which could happen to us. And there was a huge problem, right, in last 50 years, right, which we were trying to maybe solve for this, and understanding how the proteins and other aspects work in our body. So this solution by DeepMind by Google, this AlphaFold 2, it is able to basically understand protein folding, and it has solved that 50 years old problem. So this is a huge breakthrough. This just happened recently, right? And they have also used AlphaFold, right, for creating certain COVID vaccines as well. So in a way, as you all know, when the mutation happened of these COVID viruses, there is specific types of proteins involved, right? And that is where uh, solutions like AlphaFold from DeepMind are coming into picture, and they're utilizing DeepMind for solving many different use cases. So if you go to their website, which I'm sharing here, you'll find many such use cases wherein they're using AI-powered solutions to solve real-world problems. Next example is there is a photo I'm showing on the left, as you can see. Do you see any humans in that photo? Uh, I believe no, right? So this reminds me of a good joke, right? In a way, uh, there was a factory owner similar to a factory what you're seeing in the photo here. So he was taking a visitor, right? Who was a big visitor, right? Maybe let's call him a prime minister or a president of a country visiting his factory, right? And there were just two of them who were visiting that factory. So when they visited the factory, right, there were only two human, I'm sorry, there were two only living beings which could be seen in the factory. So one was a guard, human guard, and second was a dog, right? So maybe the visitor was very curious, right? In this case, that prime minister or president, right, visiting that factory, right? In a way, why those only two living creatures are there in that factory, wherein other things all automated. You see all the machines around, right? So can you guess what was the purpose of, say, suppose that dog as well as that guard? Can you guess? If you know the answer, you can type it in chat. So if you have the guesses, right? Generally, what people would guess is the guard is there to protect the building and security purpose, right? As Vaibhav also said in the chat, right? So the joke is that was not the actual cause. What the factory owner said is the guard is there to ensure that the dog is fed on time, and the dog's job is that the human guard who is there, he is not touching any of the machines. So can you imagine where we are going? And that is possibly going to happen in future. As you can see in this photo, there are very less humans involved. This is a Tesla factory. I've given a video link there. I highly recommend you should go and watch it. All robot and automated process is being used for manufacturing these Tesla cars, and there are very less humans involved. Second example on the right, as you can see, is a robot which is created by Boston Dynamics. They create different types of robots, and what they have done is they have created a policeman. Basically, this dog, what you're seeing as a robot, uh, do you know who is the fastest man on the earth in terms of running? He was in news, by the way, today. He's blessed with twins. He is 8 times gold medalist for the fastest sprinter. So I hope some of you know his name. His name is Usain Bolt, right? And he could maybe he's the fastest man on the earth. But the robot, what you see here, right, which is called as policeman, right? This robot can run even faster than Usain Bolt. So can you imagine, right, if these policemen or these robots are deployed, right, and Usain Bolt, for the sake of maybe consideration, is basically a thief or he's carrying out a robbery. Even if he is able to run, right, being the fastest man, this robot would be still able to catch him. So imagine where these systems are going and how fast they are. Next example is, we already know there are like a lot of autonomous cars everywhere. We also have maybe use of digital assistants. They're becoming more mainstream. They're helping us learn. So I was attending maybe parent teachers meet for my daughter, right? And she's part of a school just in grade 5, right? And they have provided her a digital learning management system which integrates with maybe Amazon Echo and other digital assistants what they have, right? And using that, they can basically do a lot of learning online. So can you imagine, right? Maybe fifth graders having access to technology like that, and maybe doing learning right online and things like that. So that is where the world is going. Basically, you can control all the things in your home, right? You could have intelligent lights and things like that. And quite interestingly, way back in 2007, we developed a similar solution, right? That time even the term IoT was not there, right? And that was deployed in hospitality industry, wherein using an app, mobile app, you can basically control all the ambience, you can give voice controls and things like that, right? And that was ahead of time. So a lot of these things have become now mainstream. Next example that I'm showing on the screen is warehouse logistics. Left side, it's one of the biggest warehouses. You'll possibly don't see any humans there, right? So if you closely observed, right, this photo, as you can see, these orange boxes, they are basically taking all the shipments from one place to other places. So these are again bots, and these are being used. These robots are being used for complete warehouse operations, and this is a real logistics operation, and I've shown a video, also given a link here, you can go and watch it. That is how the technology is being utilized. There is no human involvement. All these robots could do is take all the shipments based on the orders which are there, maybe pack it together, right? Only one thing where human involvement is there. Randomly a human is involved in checking whether the shipment address and the packaging which has been done is right or not. That's it. All the things are done in a more automated way. On the right hand side, you see these huge robots. These robots are again something which are picking up big containers, right? And again, there is no human involvement required. There is no one driving these robots. They're able to pick up the container. They just get a schedule, right? And they're able to do that. That's where everything is going. Again, in day-to-day life, we use many assistants like OK Google, then Siri, those who use iPhones, those who are on Windows, Microsoft, they use Cortana, right? Most of the times to carry out most of the stuff they are trying to do. Again, another trivia. Does anyone recognize this logo? I'm hoping some of you do. If you know the answer, that's fine. If you don't know it, please say no in the chat so that I can share the answer. And I'm also sharing a link about this, what this is about. And I highly recommend all of you to maybe go and visit this link if you don't know already, right? So this logo represents OpenAI, and OpenAI is basically trying to solve a lot of real world AI ML challenges, right? Which as humans we are trying to do day to day, right? So what OpenAI has done is they have come up with a AI model called as GPT-3, right? If you don't know this, you should go and check it online. OpenAI GPT-3. I've shared a link here. So basically, it's an AI model which OpenAI has created, which can converse with humans, like as humans do to each other. And this OpenAI GPT-3 model can read and write text. Even it's able to write news like journalist, which is out there, right? And how they have created this is they feeded this system from all the information which is available on internet, and they have basically transformed everything. So this GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, and it all started with GPT-1, GPT-2, and GPT-3 now. So we are now into a very, very fascinating era of artificial intelligence, wherein we have tools which are available in open source, which people like you and me can use and build AI applications which are going to converse with us, right, in our native language. This is going to be a huge milestone, right? If you look at how human computer interaction is going to happen. Another area is in 2021, And this is something I gave you my personal example. I came up with this invention, right, way back when I was a student, but I did not pursue that very seriously later on, right? Wherein how AI is being used in software development. So all of you know Sundar Pichai, who is the CEO of Google, now chairman of Alphabet, right? So what he said is most of the software we write today at Google, everything is hand coded. But over a time, these could be loan systems which automatically writes itself. So that's where the world is going, wherein we are not going to be in need of developers, software programmers. You basically tell your maybe AI based coding or automatic programming system, right, what your problem is and what solution you're looking for, right, and automatically that program would be written for you. And we already have a lot of solutions called as low code, no code, and things like that, wherein a lot of things which humans were required to do, right, or the coders or developers were required to do, that is not required anywhere. So I'm interestingly sharing a link here. So this is again a link related to GPT-3, and basically using GPT-3, what people have done is from certain universities in US that they are able to write automatic code the way I just described way back in my personal life, wherein I use genetic programming and genetic algorithms. So instead of that, they are using GPT-3 model as I showcased in the previous slide, and they're able to write the coding. So imagine the kind of people who are passing out from engineering colleges getting computer degrees, right? What might happen to them, right? When these solutions like these become more mainstream, right? And that is being used. So the link is here, as you can see in the slide. All the slides have some kind of links, as you can see here, right? And these links basically take you to the relevant things what I'm talking about. So there was a question in chat, so I'm just answering that. Okay, another example of AI is in healthcare. So healthcare is changing fast. I know a lot of companies and researchers, they are working on solutions, right, wherein they're able to come up with mechanisms using which we can basically know before something happens to our body. So example could be, we could know before a heart attack would come to us, right? Or we could know if we are going to have a fever in future, right? Or any such diseases, right? Before they actually happen, we will be able to predict that. So how that would happen is we'll be able to collect a lot of data about the users, right? So that could include my patient information, clinical data, my social data in a way, what places I'm visiting and things like that, right? My behavior data, right? Using maybe my smartwatch and other sensors which are around me. And more importantly, the genomic data, as I told you, right, in that AlphaFold case, right, in a way, my personal protein structure, my DNA and other things, right? And using this, there would be like a lot of different health apps. We do some kind of prediction, and we can build an analytic cloud wherein data scientists and data miners would be involved to do prediction about your life. And there are a lot of systems which are already built and people are already using them. Next use case is even a country like India, we are not far behind. Even our government is taking a lot of initiatives. So a lot of you might know we have a site by name mygov.in. So if you don't know about this site, you should definitely go and visit this site. So when I give you that example of COVID, right? COVID waves and the way government is tackling some of that information, right? So they're using this site to collect that information, right? Wherein people are collating all the data, right? And they're trying to prepare for maybe any worst case scenarios and things like that. So there are a lot of actual analytics and data science examples which you could see on this site. Next example is I'm showing on my screen. So as you can see here is, this is again a creation by Google. So they have a site called as health.google. So what I'm showcasing here is they're using AI ML data science, right? For identifying whether you have some kind of skin problem or not. So it's a simple app which everyone can use. So you can upload an image and Google can basically tell you, right, what kind of skin disease you have. Can you imagine, right? As simple as that, right? Taking a picture and Google tells you, right, what kind of skin disease you have. Previously, what we need to do is we need to go to a doctor, right? Doctor would take a look, right, at a body part and then make a determination like that. So this technology is being extended. If you go and visit health.google, right, you'll see what I'm talking, right? So In fact, this Google solution, what we have, it could look at medical images like X-ray, sonography, MRI, and CT scans, and maybe make more accurate predictions about certain diseases like cancers and other things, and maybe give valuable insights to our doctors so that they can provide better patient care and maybe better treatment. And at the same time, they can also monitor the treatment is whether working or not working and things like that. So even we are doing a lot of good work in healthcare. We have clients in US wherein we are helping them aggregate a lot of this data, right? And maybe uh, use AI, ML, and data science, right, in providing better patient care. Here is another example. This is again from health.google. So they have a page called as health.google/COVID-19. So what they do on this slide, this site is they are trying to provide a lot of valuable information which could tell us how COVID is spreading or maybe how we should tackle it. So this is the data which I pulled yesterday from the COVID-19 site. This is from Maharashtra. So all of you who use Android phones, basically Google is able to find out, right, in an anonymized way, right? Whether you're going out of your home, whether you are using a public transport, or whether you're using maybe going to a grocery store or maybe a big mall and things like that. And they're able to collect that data and show some kind of trends, as you can see in these graphs. And this could basically tell us, right, what's the impact of COVID on day-to-day life of people, right? In a way, whether people are visiting their workspaces, are they in their residential complexes? So if you see this indicator, it is 18%, so most plus 18%. So that shows everyone is maybe at home. They are not possibly moving out. If you look at the other indicators, right? Only there is maybe an indicator that people are going more to supermarket in Maharashtra to buy the things which they want and things like that. So this is something which Google is building, right, and providing to everyone, right? This data is available online. You can export this data in CSV file and maybe do your data analysis online. Next example is these robots are being used in different scenarios, but one of the prominent scenarios is doing robotic surgeries or providing some kind of telemedicine to the users. So in most cases, some of these robots, the person who is acting as a surgeon, right, robotic surgeon, at times could not be even in the same room, right? He could perform some of these surgeries remotely as well by just being maybe at a remote place. And another advantage is, as humans, we are susceptible to some kind of human error. So if I need to do a surgery and do an incision, right, before the surgery, and I only need a 2 mm incision, right, not less, not more. So as a human, when I'm applying that incision, depending upon on my expertise, I could maybe be accurate or maybe I could falter there, right? So, but if we use robots for doing this surgery, if you tell the robot 2 mm, it's going to be exactly 2 mm, not less, not more, and things like that. So that is where the thing is going, right, in terms of effectiveness of doing the treatment, performing surgeries, and things like that. And things are getting better and better, right? Even we are coming across care robots. So their job is to identify any anomaly in you, right? So before you go and visit your doctor, they'll tell you, right, whether there is a need to visit a doctor or what you're going through, it is normal or not. So that is where the world is going, right, wherein we could minimize visit to doctors, right, by using this expert robots. Third area I would say, which is very predominantly used in healthcare, is drug discovery. It's a very long process, as you all know. If there is a disease, right, if you need to basically do drug discovery for that disease, previously in traditional way, it used to take around 10 to 12 years to be basically find a cure for a disease, right, or a drug for a disease, right? Because you need to go through a lot of different cycles, do clinical trials and things like that. But if you look at now, using artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science, a lot of these things are being fast tracked. Take a most recent example wherein when we needed COVID-19 vaccines, right? So instead of having 4 5 year cycle or 10 year cycle, we were able to come up with those vaccines more quickly. And how that was made possible using is artificial intelligence and data science techniques. So what we are basically doing is, during the drug discovery phase, we are able to build knowledge graphs, as you can see here, right? These knowledge graphs are being built by collecting the data online, which is available from variety of sources. And there are no human involved. Basically, the bots are able to maybe leverage all the different data sources and bring it to one place, as well as AI is being used for building drug pipelines, again, identifying or leveraging medical ontologies, gene products, and all the academic literature, including maybe data from health providers, health insurance provider, right? And we can collate this data using the graphs as I'm showing here, right, in the knowledge graph, and maybe fast track the drug discovery process in a way, what I'm trying to do, whether there is any impact of that, right, and maybe do that more quickly. Next example is, this is something again, I showed you, right, in terms of diagnosis example, when I showed you that Google Health example, wherein these AI based systems could use maybe AI, ML, deep learning, or neural networks, right, wherein you give inputs as your symptoms, some biochemical analysis or pathological analysis like your urine and blood, right, and maybe provide your personal details like what your age is, what your gender is, right, and whether other conditions like do you smoke and things like that. So based on that, these systems can do basically diagnosis for you as well as your doctor, wherein for a certain disease, whether you're positive or negative or you're uncertain, right, these diagnoses could be done by these systems. So my wife is a professional doctor, right, but I generally I have a lot of respect for all the medical professionals and doctors, but they're humans like you and me, and they're also susceptible to human errors. So that's why these systems can help them do better decision making, right, and maybe provide them expert details, right, or maybe more refined data driven inputs, so that they can do better diagnosis and provide better treatment as well. Again, there are many more examples of AI. So, like a lot of people are maybe working as tailors in India, right? Or maybe there could be big manufacturing companies who are manufacturing, say, suppose t-shirts and shirts. So there is a robot which is available, right? And it is being used by Adidas. And that robot can basically manufacture a t-shirt in flat 22 seconds. And imagine a single t-shirt being manufactured in 22 seconds. They're able to have around 800,000 t-shirt manufactured in one day. So for a country like India, right, where the labor is very cheap, right, maybe less than $5 a day, what might happen to people like that? Okay, and that is where these AI enhanced augmentation softwares are coming into picture, right? Even a lot of experts like advocates, right, chartered accountants, right, their jobs are possibly going to be taken by these AI enhanced systems, wherein they'll have all the knowledge, they'll give you all the advices, right, and no need to go to visit an advocate, right? That AI based system can basically run a case for you, and slowly that is being legitimized in bigger countries as well. Another area wherein a lot of research is happening, this is again close to my work, which is cybersecurity. So the old version of maybe handling cybersecurity was like more like cyber now, which was signature based, having a lot of limitations, right? Wherein we could possibly never handle 0 day attacks, right? Which was the behavior was more towards known bad. But now we are doing is utilizing AI ML based systems, which are more towards behavior modeling, which is based on known good. If something is maybe marked as good, that could be only passing through those systems. Other things would be maybe prevented from happening. And most of these new systems are going to be having unsupervised learning. They'll be able to make decisions on their own, right? If something is their new variation of a malware or a new virus and things like that. Basically, these systems are going to be helping us to prevent any 0 second attacks, which is going to be something what we need to do in future to maybe minimize the risk which is out there. Again, artificial intelligence could help us in detection of cyber attacks, prediction of cyber attacks, and more importantly, responding to such cyber attacks. So in interest of time, I've given a link here, so you can again go and visit and maybe get more details. Here are some of the potential use cases which are being used to solve real world problems using AI/ML solutions. So that includes fraud detection, malware detection, right, intrusion detections, and things like that. And there are huge companies, right, who have made it big, right, using AI/ML as solutions. So more recently, there is a company by name Darktrace, right? So it was acquired by another company, right, and it is around $1 billion. Another company is by name Silence, right? They came up with similar solution, and this company was acquired by BlackBerry for $1.4 billion, and they have solutions which are AI/ML powered. So if you have a right idea, right solution, some of these companies, which could be classified as maybe startups, are being bought for millions of dollars. Another trivia, I'm sharing a photo on the screen. Do you happen to know these famous people? Do you recognize any of them? If you know the answer, right, just maybe say yes or no. If you don't know them, that's fine. Do you know any of them? Okay. Okay, Weber answers yes. So do you know anyone's name? So that's where the maybe trivia is. All these faces look familiar. Even everyone can get fooled by this, and maybe some of these faces look so familiar, right, that you think that okay, you know them. Maybe so that everyone knows these faces are not real; they are computer generated, right? And we have forged images, right, using tools like deepfakes. If you have not heard already, right? So there is a link. You should go and read the story. So using deepfakes, basically, what you could do is you can simulate a user, right? It's just not photos. You can even create their videos. So if you want, maybe you can simulate anyone, right? It could be a living creature, or maybe not a creature which is existing, or a human who is existing. It's that easy. So a lot of people are creating movies with these virtual characters, right? That is what is happening, and it's very easy to do. So imagine, right, you live in a world, right, wherein somebody calls you with my name on a video call, right, and you see me speaking, you see my voice, right, and I'm asking for your help, that okay, I need money, and you need that convincing voice, right, on that video call, right, and I'll say, okay, transfer 10,000 rupees in my account. Will you believe it or not, right? In most cases, you'll always believe, right, because you're seeing me, you're hearing my voice, right, and you'll be able to, like, maybe something called as this technique is called as wishing. You should go and look at this. Using video call, right, we are trying to fish people, right, and then we are asking them to maybe divulge or do certain things what we want. So the question which came in chat is, what's the app name, right? So there are many apps. One of the prominent apps is called as Deepfix. You can go and look for it online. Another example is wherein we all know Apple. So they have access to cheap labor in China, now in India also, right? Wherein they need to pay less than a $5 per day, right? But now what they're doing, the one of the suppliers, Foxconn, they are simply replacing these 60,000 workers with robots, wherein there is no human involvement. The robots are going to do manufacturing of those phones. So slowly the world is changing. So you can basically use GANs, as I was showing in my previous slides. Deepfakes is based on GANs. So as you can see, GANs are generative adversarial networks. So it's a very recent term. It all started way back in 2014, wherein you can create simple photos. Now you can add expressions, right? And now more importantly, you're able to use NLP, right? And create video, audio, right? All the things. So this has changed over a period of time, and it's getting even better and better. Now next thing what I'm observing is a lot of challenges, right, as far as AI goes, and there are a lot of security things what we need to keep in mind, because AI could be used for good, but at the same time bad people or bad actors, they're using AI for attacking AI, right, or maybe they're using AI for creating problems for others, or they're misusing AI for targeting others. So it's a huge field. So there is a video here. So let me know if you're able to maybe see the video. So there is a link. When I share the presentation, you can basically hear the details there, right? So in a way, what is happening these days is we are using adversarial machine learning, right, to carry out some of the attacks, right, for
By now, you've probably heard the term.
so we have like a lot of different use cases, right, in a way,
And it's used
how
in
this
more
AI
complex
is being
technologies,
used.
like facial recognition and
So
self-driving
facial recognition
cars.
is one.
But for all the benefits, there's a problem with machine already trained model.
So these are some of the trained models,
So
how the
why
training
does
happens.
adversarial machine learning matter? The more AI systems get built into our daily lives, the more adversarial attacks could become a
So you
problem.
can attack the AI models, right, to maybe do certain things which are bad. So you see this stop.
Self-driving car into misclassifying.
So if I just put these maybe certain stamps, so it would see that as a different kind of sign.
Classifying a benign mole as malignant.
Again, this could be applied in cancers, right? So you simply see in a photo, right? It could be malignant.
Could be used for everything from
So a lot of things are changing wherein they're using adversarial AI, right, for carrying out certain things, right, which they should not be. So here are some more examples. So one of the famous models which are used by driverless cars is called a SOTA model for image recognition. So here you can see in this example, right, it was basically SOTA model was fooled, right, to believe a stop sign is basically a sign wherein you can consider it as a speed limit sign. So you can imagine instead of stopping, somebody is like maybe just driving by with a less speed. Another example is in this photo, as you can see on the left, the person who is being shown in the photo is able to be recognized by the SOTA model. But wherein if you see the person who is clearly visible in the photo, the person is not being recognized by SOTA model. So these adversarial AI techniques and maybe threat modeling techniques are being used wherein we can fool these AI based models to not recognize or not classify certain things. So imagine the implications, right? Wherein you have a video feed analysis system which should work in lifetime and identify intruders, and they wear a cloak type. Maybe as you can see on the screen right now, wherein the person is not getting identified, and maybe that's a highly secure facility. What might happen? So a lot of people are doing a lot of research on this, and maybe they're identifying areas, right, where things are not working the way they should. Again, to solve this problem, a lot of researchers are working on something called as threat modeling. So when you're working on machine learning, deep learning models, you try to optimize your models, right, by identifying use cases, or maybe you're learning models, right, during supervised and unsupervised learning, wherein you act negatively and identify how your model can be attacked, and you try to mitigate those attacks and prevent those attacks. So a lot of training and influencing is involved into this. So I'm sharing a link. You can go and maybe read more about this in terms of how this could be done. So there are a lot of potential solutions of AI. I just gave some examples so that we all understand how AI and ML is solving a lot of real world problems. If I need to talk, I can talk for 4 or 5 days, right? Depending upon the kind of solutions even we are working on, what our clients are working on, or what I'm aware about, right, in our day-to-day life. So if we need to develop any AI strategy, we need to first understand what our vision and objective around that is. Then we should build the AI capability within our organization in terms of what kind of AI model or maybe AI category we are going to follow, whether it is assisted intelligence, augmented intelligence, right, or autonomous intelligence. And then we should have a mechanism within the organization to identify what AI capabilities we'll be building within the organization, right? And more importantly, we should have a governance model in place so that there is human involvement, right? And these systems are not just working on its own. So that's the general process we follow whenever we are like maybe working on any AI project. Again, this creates huge potential. A lot of companies which were big and having advantage has basically got disadvantage, right? Because AI has been democratized, right? And a lot of people can use it. A lot of things are available in open source. So as a student or a faculty or as a researcher, I can do an innovation which even a bigger company has not done, right? And maybe I can solve a real world problem, right? And using that, maybe I can form a company, I can get a patent, right? And maybe I can make it huge. So that's where I recommend all of you, right, through this STTP to take this AIML data science very seriously, right, and maybe do something of your own. So here are some of the fields wherein you can carry out your research, right? So areas could be machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, right, pattern recognition, autonomous systems, natural language processing, right? And I can go on. There are almost 20 large fields, right, wherein we can apply research and use artificial intelligence. Again, one thing which I would like to share here is you must be thinking how I'll get the computing power, right? In a way, how I'll get the resources to do my research or maybe my work. So one good thing is all the big cloud providers like Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, or Amazon Web Services, they all provide free tiers of their cloud platforms wherein whatever AI ML algorithms or models what you build, you can possibly deploy it there, and maybe you will not be required to spend maybe amount from your own pockets, and you can experiment it online, right, using the resources which are available there. So I highly recommend you to create your demo accounts there, right, which are valid for 1 year across almost all the platforms, right, and you get access to all the resources which enterprises and bigger companies like even ours use, so that we are solving real world AI ML problems. Here are some resources wherein you can get started with AI. There are a lot of resources available online, but some of the prominent one I'm showing here. So I highly recommend, if you have not already done, you should attend maybe the online course by Professor Andrew Ng. So he is very active, and he is one of the founders of Coursera, and he has multiple courses available online, right? And what he said about AI is the new electricity. So as you all know, we cannot, I mean, even imagine living without electricity these days. So that is what he's saying, that AI is going to be something which is going to be similar to electricity. We cannot live without AI, and that is what is happening. So in most of his courses, he has talked about how we can use AI, right? And maybe how some of these things could be learned and deployed in the real world. So with that, I'm just coming to my summary slide. And as you can see, we are seeing software is eating the world everywhere, wherein we are seeing tech industry is getting outgrown by the tech industry. Okay. And we are seeing technology being deployed, right, in every industry. And this is even getting more accelerated more recently due to COVID, because everyone is supposed to move maybe in the work from home model, a lot of things we are supposed to be closed and things like that. So it is going to get even bigger. And to make that happen, AI, machine learning, and other emerging technologies are going to be coming into picture, and they're going to be basically changing everything right around us. And a lot of things, as you may know, right, whether you like it or not, artificial intelligence is being used to make decisions about your life, whether you like it or don't like it. So example, let's say suppose you must be observing this all the time, right? So if you go and search a product online on, say, suppose Flipkart or Amazon or other sites, and as soon as you are looking for other searches, right, on Google, or maybe some of the other apps, right, you automatically get served ads for the products which are similar to what you're looking for. So basically, a lot of data is being harnessed about you. You are the commodity, you are the product for all these big companies, right? And they're using artificial intelligence to maybe do certain things about your life without even you wanting, right? So a lot of social media site are also collecting a lot of personal information about you. I'm sharing some resources and news articles of my personal history about how AI is being used, right, and some of the past articles which got published. So with that, we all should use this STTP as an opportunity to learn more about AI, ML, right, and maybe be part of the train and ride the train, right, and maybe we should not do something, right, so that we are left behind, right, or rather we need to jump in front of the train because we don't know the relevant terms, right, and relevant use cases. Okay, so with that, I would like to thank Dr. B.P. Joshi, Principal of Cummins College of Engineering, for inviting me for this keynote session. Convener, Professor Sakshi from Computer Engineering Department, and all the staff members from the college, right, for organizing such a great STTP. So I wish all the participants a great learning. And please remember our ex-beloved Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, what he said is excellence is a continuous process and not an accident. So we should take this as an opportunity, should believe in your vision, right? And try to come up with an action plan so that you are making yourself ready for these AI ML challenges, right? Which is already impacting our lives. And you are part of the journey, right? You are training your own students, or rather you are yourself solving some of the real world problems, and maybe you are part of this great opportunity which is being presented to all of us. So with that, I'll give it back to the organizers so that they can maybe look at the chat and maybe ask some of the moderated questions, right, so that I can take some of the most important questions here. And thank you all for patient listening and being interactive, right? I mean, that has really made it a good session. So anyone from the organizers, please look at the questions for me and maybe ask those questions so that I can take it up.
Thank you, sir. Yes, dear.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear you. Can you hear me all?
Yes, thank you, sir. Yes, dear participant, if you are having any question, please ask the question into the chat box.
So I see some old questions in the chat. So if you can scroll up, right, and maybe take few of them to start with, that would be a good start.
Sir has already given the answer of some questions. If you are having any another question, please ask.
Okay, I see a question from Goldie. I'm
Yeah,
not sure if he's still around. So the question is, and it's a very good question, which is the best platform to implement AI/ML based algorithm in healthcare? So that's a very good question. In fact, I'm doing a session in a similar FDP for one of the prominent colleges in Tamil Nadu, right? And the STTP is on data science in healthcare, right? Or AI/ML opportunities in healthcare, right? And this complete session is mostly hands-on, right? In a way, I'm talking about what tools are available, right? And how we should do this. So if I need to summarize at a high level, generally, we have programming languages like Python, which is available, along with some of the Python-based frameworks, which I generally highly recommend based on what kind of problem you are trying to solve in healthcare, which can be utilized. So problem and use cases could be different. So one problem could be, say, suppose image recognition or image segmentation, right? So there are different frameworks which are available, and that is what my topic of session when I'm delivering that platform for them is. And again, there is a lot of information available online, so you can look for the different AML based algorithms which are there, and maybe a lot of the data sets are also available. So if you don't know about sites like Kaggle, right, so you should go and register yourself, and maybe if need be, once I have the access, I can share the my next presentation session video recording with this group as well, right, for anyone who is interested more specifically in healthcare. But at high level, there are variety of tools, frameworks which are available. Even we are utilizing some of them, right, while we work in our own company as well. Okay. So one of the questions which are asked by Anjali is online AI free courses available? If yes, which one is free? So I think one of the question, this is something again I answered previously. Some of the good courses I've shown in my slide. I'll go back to that slide one more time. So some of the courses what I'm showing here, right? These are like mostly free, right? So for Coursera, any course what you attend, it's free to attend. You don't need to pay for that. Only for certificate you need to pay. So I would highly recommend courses from Dr. Andrew Ng, right? His courses are very unique, very useful with a lot of resource knowledge. But other courses as well I'm showing here, right? They're equally good as well. But if I need to recommend one, I'll recommend Dr. Andrew Ng's courses online. Okay. Is there any free app which we can learn programming language for data science in future? Yes. So there are many free sites, free apps. So you can start with these courses, as I said. Then you can go to sites like Kaggle and other places where you can get a lot of free resources, and you can basically become data scientist as well. So there are enormous resources available online and free, and that's what I feel everyone who is maybe going through the process as on today, right, should be feel privileged, because when I look back at my journey, right, 10-15 years back, a lot of resources which are available to generation now, right, in terms of their learning, and most of them are free resources, right, it was not available to us, so we need to learn and do a lot of things on our own. So when I started learning genetic algorithm, genetic programming earlier, right, I need to buy physical books, go through those, write my own code and things like that. So it was very difficult. But if you look at the modern the access and resources what is available, right? So at times you get source code even available through GitHub and other platforms, so you can easily learn from there. Okay. So there is another question from Anjali. For beginner to learn AI, what is your suggestion, right? So my suggestion is you start with Dr. Andrew Ng's courses online. I think that is the best place to get started. And then you can go to more difficult courses, right? Where you can learn Python programming. Using Python, you can do certain specific things, maybe in data science, image recognition, NLP and things like that. So that is the best way to go about it. Okay, I believe I've covered all the questions. If I missed something, like maybe I'm happy to take that.
Yes, participant. Is there any question?
Okay, so I'll take that as no, but I think this was useful. A lot of good people have attended, and more importantly, you have made it interactive. Generally, these afternoon sessions are very difficult, especially when you do it in online mode. So once again, I would like to thank everyone for the patient listening and making it interactive. And my request would be there's some good sessions planned as part of this STTP in future. So please do attend those sessions. So a lot of your questions, right, what you have now, they're going to be answered in some of those sessions, right? Because some of those sessions are going to talk about some specific tools, right, and things like that. So I'm sure you'll get benefited out of those sessions in future. So once again, thanks to Cummins College of Engineering for inviting me here and giving me this opportunity. Over to the organizers so that we can maybe look at closing the session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Izwan, sir. It was a very nice and knowledgeable interactive session, and I hope participant will get the benefit from it.
Okay, and I'm sharing my LinkedIn here, LinkedIn and Twitter. So if you need any help, please send me a message and I'll be more than happy to help you on any problems you have in future. Thank you one and all again. Thanks
Yeah.
for actively participating and all the very best.
Thank you, Dr. Rizwan, sir. I would like to thank you from the entire management of Cummins College of Engineering for Women Nagpur for this wonderful session. And thank you, dear participant, for your patience listening. Now the another announcement. Tomorrow we are having the another session first. So we will meet at 10:30 a.m. sharp for the tomorrow's session. Thank you all.
Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.